will speak. That's our debate number 1. Don't forget to tweet in on that hashtag. And joining us this evening on debate number 1 is Shazia Ilmi, who we are introducing as a social activist today, because that's the role she's really playing. She was invited as a panelist in Jamia Millia, an invitation that was later withdrawn because she had some progressive views on triple talaq. Shazia Ilmi, who is also a BJP member, today appearing here as a social activist. We are also joined by Major General G.D. Bakshi, defense analyst, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, national spokesperson of the BJP, and Sushil Pandit, co-founder of Roots in Kashmir. They are taking on Shabnam Lone, lawyer and activist from Delhi, Dr. Fuad Halim, spokesperson of the CPIM, Inam Ul Nabi, spokesperson of the AIB, and Dr. John Dayal, human rights activist, also with us in our studios here in New Delhi. Coming across to you first, Shazia Ilmi. Shazia Ilmi, are you surprised that there's a red carpet that's rolled out? There's an entire debate that's on, protests that are on in the Delhi University North Campus at a time when Umar Khalid's invitation was revoked because many felt that there could be problem on the campus if he was allowed to speak his separatist language at the forum that was provided to him in Ramjas College. But at the same time, when the entire liberal world is up in arms questioning that move of the withdrawal invitation to Umar Khalid, there's not a single voice that's come out to support you, Shazia Ilmi, when your invitation was withdrawn. Shazia Ilmi, why was your invitation withdrawn? Did you receive any personal threats yourself from the student community? Why did you not go for that particular discussion on triple talaq, which was later on changed to women empowerment?
Well, it's really most baffling, but to be honest, I wasn't surprised because this has been happening ever since I've joined the BJP. You know, when I was part of the Anna Hazare movement, a lot of people thought that BJP and Anna Hazare movement are working in tandem, and even then the same people who were very critical of me. But when I joined BJP, you don't know how I've been targeted and vilified constantly. Now, can you imagine if I was in any other party, whether I was in Congress or in Aam Aadmi Party, would they have bothered to stop me? And the worst part, what really hurt me was that that is my alma mater. I did my master's in mass communication from Jamia Millia. And you know, so it's really distressing and disheartening and heartbreaking almost that they would think of me as a hate monger. They would think of me as a rabble-rouser. My record as an Anna Hazare activist, anti-corruption crusader is extremely well known. I have never called for strife in any way. I'm a pacifist. So it's terrible to think, why wouldn't they want my opinion? I give my opinion and I speak as a gender activist. And not just for Muslim women's rights,
so your opinion, Shazia, and I want to point this out to make it very clear, your opinion not only on the issue of triple talaq. Yeah, so your opinion not only on the contentious issue of triple talaq, where you perhaps have progressive opinion, so they didn't want to hear it, but even if the topic of the seminar, of the discussion was changed to women's empowerment, I ask, why could you not be a part of that? You seem to be an empowered woman. Why would they draw that red line for you even if the topic was changed?
Because Navika, I have chosen in their eyes the wrong party. You see, they have a problem with the political choice that I have made. Had I been speaking on the Congress forum or any of the pseudo-secular, as I call them, they would not have had a problem with me. It's the political choice that I made. There is this whole narrative that is dominant in the campuses.
Being judgmental about your political choice is what has targeted you, Shazia Ilmi, is what you are saying.
That's
okay, so let me get in Shabnam Lone. Shabnam Lone, do you think the views of an Umar Khalid are more acceptable? And Umar Khalid, who, let me remind you what he said on the floor of the JNU struggle when he went and talked about the Brahmanical collective conscience. He talked about the judicial killing of Afzal Guru and Maqbool Bhatt. He said he was in solidarity with the struggle of the Kashmiri people for their democratic life right to self-determination. He also went on to say that there would be an art exhibition and photo exhibition portraying the history of the occupation of Kashmir and the people's struggle against it. That's the record of Omar Khalid. And what other records does he hold, Shabnam Lone? In 2014, he was a member of the DSU, the Democratic Students Union in JNU, of which he was a member right till 2015. And what was this dubbed by the Ministry of Home Affairs as an affiliate of the terrorist front organization of the CPI Maoist, which is a banned organization. Somebody like an Omar Khalid is acceptable to speak on the stage of a campus of a university, but not Shazia Ilmi when she talks against triple talaq or women's empowerment. Are you surprised that not a single liberal voice came out to oppose that, oppose the freedom of speech of Shazia Ilmi, while everybody has been talking about the freedom of speech of Omar Khalid, Shabnam Lone?
Well, Navika, let me put it this way. We have the Afzal League. Now, we are missing one league. That is the Nalini League. Nalini, the woman who assassinated the former Prime Minister of India, Rajiv Gandhi. So, I'm very surprised that I have never heard even an iota of a whisper on Times now that those people who assassinated the former Prime Minister should have been hanged. Let's leave it at that. Now let me come to Umar Khalid.
Yeah, let's leave it, Shabnam. Yeah, let's come to the point.
Background. I do not know his affiliations.
You do not? I've just told you.
I don't know his
I've just read out his CV to you.
I heard
I've just read out his CV to you. Don't you know that he is the one who printed those posters about Azaadi in Kashmir and circulated them in the JNU campus last year in February? Don't you know that he was a member of the Democratic Students Union, which is a front organization of the CPI Maoists?
See, intolerant and intemperate behavior is not democracy's creed. Debate and dissent is democracy's creed. Now let me come to this point. Today I heard Mr.
So stop Shazia Ilmi from speaking. That's not her free speech.
Television. Now let me say one. Please let me. Now let me. No. He talked about Umar Khalid. He said Umar Khalid, in his eyes, is an anti-national. Right? Now I say this is a colorable exercise of power by this minister. Since there was an inquiry which was going on, the Delhi police was conducting inquiry into his sedition case. Now the minister has not waited for the inquiry, nor has he waited for the judicial verdict. Here comes Mr. Rijiju. He has given his opinion. He says he is an anti-national. The police works
Shabnam Lone, let me point out.
How do you think this case will go forward?
You know,
now is Mr.
Shabnam, the point is legal scrutiny, all right, may be awaited. 1 second, Shabnam, the legal scrutiny may be awaited. But it is absolutely clear that there is no doubt about the fact that Umar Khalid is a secessionist, that Umar Khalid is somebody who believes that Jammu and Kashmir should separate from India, that Umar Khalid is somebody who believes that the hanging of Afzal Guru was a judicial killing. There is no doubt about any of these things. So you may say that legal scrutiny is awaited, but the point is there is no doubt about these things. I want to go across to, no, 1 second, I'm going across to Fuad Halim on this. 1 second. Shabnam, I'm coming back to you, but Fuad Halim, you know, leaders of the left will come out there, they'll join student protests, they will repeatedly say freedom of speech should extend to all, they will defend the invitation to a man who is facing charges of sedition, but they don't come out on the streets when a Shazia Ilmi or a Meenakshi Lekhi are barred from an event only because of their political affiliation. Is that not freedom of speech or curtailing of freedom of speech then? Why this hypocrisy?
Well, it's very clear that the RSS has again found a way of actually not allowing people to speak their mind. If we look at Shazia Ilmi's invitation, it has been given by an organization called Forum for Awareness of National Security.
Yes, it has.
Patron,
but that's not the organization that cancelled the invitation.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Just let me finish. Please let me finish.
So what? I think Shazia can rebut you on this. No, but
you have been playing with
but they did not cancel the invitation.
You vilify. Just look at this gentleman. I have been
not allowing Shazia Ilmi to speak.
You know, the funny thing is. No, the funny thing is that these people keep vilifying RSS and BJP, but they are the villains of the peace.
Let's be very clear.
You know, you people are the villains of the peace and you keep demonizing others. You still going on RSS, BJP? Do you know that BJP is actually a victim here?
Dr. Fuad Halim, my question to you is simple. You will defend an invitation.
You're hallucinating. You're living in some lala land, you know, sir. You don't
Somebody who has advocated the separation of Jammu and Kashmir on an Indian campus, but you won't say a word when Shazia Ilmi says
call to sedition and secession and dismemberment of my country.
The discussion is what? For progressive rights of women, progression for women talking against triple talaq. You will not say a word for that, Dr. Fuad Halim?
Coming from the Jamia authorities in the heart of Delhi, whose security responsibilities are with the central government, then nothing can be more unfortunate.
Well, the venue belongs to the
university. Don't stretch it so far. The Jamia management worked overtime to keep me away. What crazy convoluted logic you're giving and spinning some yarns. They're not working really.
Shazia, very quickly, this is not central to the debate here, but Shazia, very quickly, you must clarify here. The fact is that the university is the one that had an objection to your presence in the first place. It's not the organizers of the event. It's because the venue belongs to the university. Fuad Halim, you've said something about the event.
Absolutely.
Shazia was a panelist.
Absolutely.
Let her please enlighten you on this. Shazia, very quickly, please.
Please, Shazia, tell me whether forum.
Yes, and I want to really call the bluff of the gentleman who just spoke. And you know, this argument of yours is not going to work.
That's Dr.
Because
Fuad
the Jamia
Halim
management worked overtime to pressurize the organizers
That's Dr. Fuad
into
Halim
dropping
of the
me.
CPIM, Shazia.
The patron of the organization that had invited you. Please answer that
That's
question.
all you know, all the leftists know is how to spin a yarn and hoodwink people. But sorry, sir, we'll call you a bluff.
That invited you.
Listen, the narrative that you have been working on.
That's your argument.
You all are the villains of the peace. You are the ones who muzzle dissent. You are the ones who don't let others speak. You are the ones. You are the ones who have hijacked this whole freedom of speech argument.
Why are you running away from the fact?
You are the most. There's nothing liberal about you. You're the most illiberal fascist. That's what you are.
I'm not liberal. I am a
but
fascist,
after there was pressure, why don't you hear
management, the Vice Chancellor and the Provost?
Here the point she's making, she's saying the topic was changed after the pressure was put by the university on the organizers. Why are you blanking that part out? You're talking about us not telling lies to our viewers. What are you trying to propagate, Dr. Fuad Halim?
Don't lie, sir.
Okay, let me.
Please contradict me. Please tell me that
just spinning some yarn. Don't spin yarn, sir. Try doing this in China. Sir, please go to China.
You know, logically also. 1 second.
You will be beaten up and sent back. Talk about freedom of expression for everybody.
Before calling me a liar, contradict me. Tell me that I am saying incorrect things.
Fuad Halim, even if you look at your argument logically, I'm afraid it does not stand. What you're saying is that the RSS would choose to bar Shazia Ilmi from an event. That does not even make any sense, Dr. Fuad Halim. Why would the RSS have an objection to Shazia Ilmi being part of a panel? There is no logic in that argument. And let me extend this. Let me bring in Major General G.D. Bakshi also. He's also part of the panel today. And he was at the receiving end of the liberal hypocrisy when the event that he was supposed to attend and speak at in January was called off at the Calcutta Club. I'd like to bring in Major General G.D. Bakshi on this, because you as well as Tariq Fateh were supposed to speak at this event, but the hosts there too caved into pressure. Major General G.D. Bakshi, why were you not allowed to speak?
You know, the fact of the matter is, Navika, and you know, the fact of the matter is that we have selective and manufactured outrage. anyone who shouts slogans of Azaadi in support of the terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir, anybody who shouts slogans in support of the Maoists who have been killing our soldiers by the dozens. 75 CRPF constables were killed in one massive ambush. You know, there is selective and manufactured outrage. He is not being allowed to speak. You use the cloak of freedom of free speech to try and stoke sedition. The easiest way to stardom today is to shout slogans in support of Kashmiri terrorists. Instant stardom. There is, I'm very sorry to state, a great hypocrisy at work, and there is a dangerous, you know, a kind of a plot to subvert this country. Please take your mind back to what happened in Syria. The problem had started in the universities of Aleppo and Damascus. Similar slogans couched in the highfalutin language of free speech were used. And then selective outrage, and now there is not a single building standing intact in Syria. I'm very sorry to state, these people who act as the so-called guardians of our liberty and freedom of speech are planning, conniving with anti-India powers to try and bring this country to the same sorry state. You know, the selectivity of this free speech
Major General G.D. Bakshi, Major General G.D. Bakshi, isn't it surprising?
Triple Talaq, she cannot. When I want to
the manufactured outrage that you talk about, there was absolutely no reflection of it.
I cannot. Tariq Fateh cannot speak.
Tariq Fateh and yourself cannot speak on anything in Balochistan. Shazia Ilmi cannot speak on anything about triple talaq because she has progressive views. The question is, every time anything is trying to be addressed about the Muslim community, somehow questions are being raised. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. And let me take that question to Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi. Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, I would like to ask you one basic question. Sitaram Yechuri at the campus yesterday said they cannot win this with their intellectual skill and want to replace it with violence. Sitaram Yechuri said at the protest march, he says, Hamara nationalism is we are Indian, not who is a Hindu. The question is, where on the campus was there a debate on Hindu and Muslim? Where was on the campus a debate between any two religious segments? Where was the debate on anything to do with any communal agenda? Do you think those who point a finger at the BJP for communal agenda are somewhere absolutely psyched with the agenda of Hindu versus Muslim because they feel that only that agenda is something that they can address the BJP with?
There is a sheer hypocrisy and frustration in the statements of leftist leaders. The reason being, if you look at it, what Mr. Halim was saying, even if any organization is affiliated to any other organization whom you think is not associated to you, then the justice for women should not be discussed. It cannot be the sole exclusive copyright of the leftists. Whether it is the issue of tolerance, whether it is the issue of freedom of speech, it is having a different set of issues for Shazia Ilmi, Tariq Fateh or Taslima Nasreen, and different set of rules for Umar Khalid, Yaqub Menon or Afzal Guru. And more important, I would like to say, the problem is these type of institutions, particularly the academic institutions, the teachers which are trying to propagate this leftist ideology are doing a gross injustice to the student, because most of the teachers started their student life in 70s or some in 60s. At the time the leftist ideology was having some attraction, but right now it is worldwide, tried, tested, failed. From USSR to Czechoslovakia,
so you're
Romania,
saying,
Hungary,
Dr.
Bulgaria,
Sudhanshu
Poland,
Trivedi,
China.
Yeah.
It is now only just left in North Korea. So it means you are trying to impose the ideology which is failed worldwide, unnecessary, for the sake of your psychophantasy, for the sake of your frustration. And one more thing.
Okay, and you're saying that there is rank hypocrisy
in IITs. in IIMs,
Yeah.
in AIMS, and even
why don't they come out for other?
They
why
are
don't they
giving
come out for the
a
other
glittering
incidents?
view of Indian
Dr.
youth
Sudhanshu Trivedi,
from London to Houston.
Yeah, the question we are asking is why is there selective outrage? Why is there selective protest? I'd like to go across to Inam Ul Nabi on this. You know, you claim to espouse the cause of the Kashmiris, and I'd really like your response on this. Now, how many of you in Kashmir protested in favor of freedom of expression, as you say, Umar Khalid must be extended, when in February 2013 the so-called Grand Mufti in Kashmir had issued a fatwa against Kashmir's first all-girl band? He said, and I'm quoting him, I issued the fatwa where I said to the girls that music is not good for society. All bad things happening in Indian society are because of music. How many of you fought for freedom of expression then, Inam Ul Nabi?
Tina.
Let me appreciate first the decision
I'll
of
come to you. Let him respond first. I'll come to you, Shabnam, next.
Who have banned these hate mongers to enter in the university.
I'm asking you a question. Please answer. Why didn't you protest against what the Grand Mufti had said? Weren't those Kashmiri girls who had a band?
I appreciate the decision taken by the Jamia. I appreciate. Let me
I'm
speak.
asking you something else. I'm asking you, how can freedom of speech be selective? How can it be selective?
Show some tolerance. Let me.
Why don't you answer the question
I will answer your every
Why
question.
is your protest
selective? Let me
selective?
put forth my point of view first.
Yeah, so please answer it.
Why you people are selective? Why don't you give justice to the Kunan Poshpura, where army has conducted mass rape?
You know, we are talking about a discussion and a debate.
You're a liar.
We were talking about a discussion and a debate on Jamia Millia. We are talking about why do you get worried? Why do you get so worried when women's issues are discussed? Why do you get very, very worried when there is a progressive Muslim woman who comes out and challenges the authority of the clergy to actually impose triple talaq on all Muslim women? Why do you get so paranoid? Why don't you speak a single word against that? You talk about Azaadi of speech for Umar Khalid. What about Azaadi of speech for Shazia Ilmi?
Prophet Muhammad we will follow Muslim personal law, not Shazia Ilmi and others. Who is she? She's a hypocrite.
So if anyone disagrees with your views, they don't have a right to freedom of speech, right? So if somebody disagrees with you, Inam Ul Nabi, that person does not have freedom of speech. Only the person who toes the exact line that you have, only that person has the courtesy of freedom of speech. Anyone who has the opposite point of view has no freedom of speech according to you.
What about our fundamental rights first? You give us first right to live.
What are your fundamental rights?
You are killing us like anything.
What about the fundamental rights of the Muslim women? What about the fundamental rights of Muslim women, Inam Ul Nabi? What about Shazia Ilmi's fundamental right? What about her right to equality? What about her right to choose what she wants as her future? What about her right not to take lying down the triple talaq verdict that's handed out by certain Muslim personal law boards? What about her right to equality? Why should she be subservient? You have no answers for that. You have no answers for that.
Nabi,
and look at these invites.
About the personal law. Why you insist only in the civil personal law?
Please repeat.
You should also go for criminal personal law.
He is talking. Excuse me.
There is no criminal.
Why you are insisting only for civil personal law? Why you not
He
for
is talking of Quran, Passpora and others. How
Let
about
me hold out
the 450,000
This is the Azaadi double speak that we are talking about. This is the invitation for the 16th of February event where both Meenakshi Lekhi and Shazia Ilmi had been invited. On the 28th of February, not only has the entire topic been changed, the entire topic has been changed to Muslim women's empowerment. It's been, even Shazia Ilmi's name has been removed from this entire invitation. That is the double speak that we are talking about. And let me go across to Sushil Pandit. Sushil Pandit, with this liberal brigade, protesting against Shazia Ilmi, Sushil Pandit, the question I want to ask you is, if Umar Khalid is given a public platform in a central university campus, tomorrow will someone like Saeed Ali Shah Gilani and Mirwais Umar Farooq also be given a platform anywhere in India to talk about secession, to talk about the breakup of India? Should, after Umar Khalid, who's been given a public platform as apologist of Afzal Guru and Maqbool Bhatt, all other terrorists should also be given public platform? Is this what we are going towards, Sushil Pandit? Is this acceptable? And where is the liberal brigade on this? I'll come to you, John Dayal, but first Sushil Pandit.
Time you did, really.
Of course.
You know, we have, there is a, ask him to keep quiet.
Inam Ul Nabi, we've given you enough time to speak. It's the turn of Sushil Pandit to speak now.
Thank you, Navika. The big picture here is that there is a calibrated escalation. We have created a horrendous situation to our secularism. We began with privileges.
One second. Allow me. Inam Ul Nabi, you must allow him to speak, and I also should remind you right now, if you want to be taken seriously, Inam Ul Nabi, if you want to be taken seriously, I would suggest that you actually answer and speak along the lines of the questions that have been asked of you, and keep your responses central to the issue that we are discussing today. Because if you, every single time that we bring you here, try to divert the topic entirely and speak about whatever on earth you feel like speaking about, I'm afraid you will not be taken seriously. So I would say it is in your own interest to actually let the debate be central to what we are discussing. And now we give the floor to Sushil Pandit and John Dayal. So I'll request you to allow them to speak. Thank you. Yes, okay. Sushil Pandit.
Speak for justice.
I will tell you, Kunan Poshpora is a hoax that you perpetrate. Go check the report by B.G. Varghese and he will tell you word by word what a terrible hoax it was. You can't even put together a decent lie. Now listen to me. Inam Ul Nabi is a typical example of how our secularism, which started with privileges, degenerated into different kinds of licenses to them. They have shut down every given cinema hall in the valley. He will hide this fact from you. And now they have converted that license into a veto. Every function, every event, every law, there is an Islamist veto now prevailing in this country. And those who are champions of human rights, those who are champions of freedoms, those who cry the slogans of Azaadi, do not ever look at these transgressions. They have offered an Islamist veto to jihadis in this country, and these jihadis are today holding the levers of power. They are vitiating every discourse. They are putting their 2 penny worth into every debate and vitiating it. They don't have a point of view.
Okay,
they do not have the education. They do not even have the decency to be part of a debate.
Sushil Pandit, so the question
was a hoax.
The question we are asking is, why should this Azaadi of speech be only for a chosen few? That's what we are asking. It's not about Kashmir tonight, but yes, it stems from that. It stems from that because
absolutely.
Is a man
your bar council is wrong. Your state human rights commission is wrong.
And he is the
your
man
administration
who has
is wrong.
Sushil Pandit, please have the courtesy to allow me to speak. Now, John Dayal, the question is this: where does the line get drawn for freedom of speech? The question is for John Dayal, gentlemen. Where is the line drawn? Do you believe that Umar Khalid is somebody who should be given a platform to speak when we know that he has spoken about the fact that Kashmir should not be a part of India? When we know that he calls the hanging of Afzal Guru and judicial killing. Sushil Pandit, you are being unfair because you are derailing the debate along with Inam Ul Nabi. So I am going to request both of you to let John Dayal speak now.
When I was talking.
John Dayal, please. I need to hear John Dayal, please. John Dayal, the question is this.
Inam Ul Nabi, now we will have to step in and we'll have to reduce your volume completely. We'll have to put down the fader because you're not allowing a discussion and a debate to take place here. We'll have to reduce your fader. If you want to behave properly in the manner a democratic debate is held, kindly hold your thoughts while Mr. John Dayal is speaking.
Yeah.
You know, I style myself a liberal, And therefore, while I personally think the Sangh ideology is noxious, I am baffled as much as you are why Shazia Ilmi was not allowed to speak or why her invitation was cancelled. I think she has as much a right to speak in any university as Umar Khalid. There is absolutely no question of people with opposing opinions not being allowed to speak. General Bakshi should be allowed to speak, and Tariq Fateh, although he is, I must say, what should I call him? But even he should be allowed to speak as much as I should be allowed to speak.
But why don't you raise your voice when
I always do. No, but that's the point.
Why don't you raise their voice when Umar Khalid is stopped from speaking? You bring the heavens down. But when Shazia Ilmi and Tariq Fateh and GD Bakshi are prevented from speaking, where is your voice then, Dr. John Dayal?
The moment I heard it, I said she should be allowed to speak. She should be allowed to speak as much as I should be allowed to speak.
Okay, but why somebody like you who is so vociferous on the social media, why don't you think it's strong enough to reflect this there?
Absolutely. Now I'm going to reflect on why.
Okay, now when we ask you the question,
no, because when you point it out, why was this not yesterday? I was on TV yesterday. Why was this issue not discussed yesterday?
This story has been there all day on Times now. You think it escaped your notice?
I am coming now and I'm telling you what I think.
Okay, so John Dayal, what about incidents that have happened in the past? For example, Taslima Nasreen. Yeah. What about when she was booted out of Bengal? What about Salman Rushdie when he was prevented from speaking at a big fest?
On a permanent visa given by the Home Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, and every liberal has welcomed it.
Every liberal has welcomed it, but I'm talking about specific instances when people have been gagged, whether it is Taslima Nasreen, whether it is Salman Rushdie, who was prevented from speaking at a lit fest.
Or when Tariq Fateh was assaulted at IGNCA.
Now, so these are incidents that have happened.
Or when I receive death threats on social media, we all do.
Do you protest against these gaggings also then?
I have myself gone to the Delhi police with complaints and nothing has happened.
Some MLAs of Congress and MIM jumped in and stopped her.
Then they told
yes, that was in Hyderabad in 2007. Yes, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, that's what we are talking about. It was the left and parties like the AIMIM which actually threw.
You can't call it a left party, can you?
So, flower pots being thrown at Taslima Nasreen.
That is shameful.
It is.
It was shameful then,
Navika,
it is shameful now. It's as shameful as the ABVP violence. How can you condone violence? I don't understand it.
No, so
violence is terrible, irrespective of where it comes from.
When there is such a passionate, and Shabnam Lone, let me get you in on this one.
Navika, one example, Shireen Dalvi, editor Awadnama, was thrown out of the Urdu newspaper as an editor and she's still on the streets. Nobody spoke up for her.
X number of journalists have been sacked for no fault of theirs. 700 of them sacked from Telegraph. The Hindustan Times has sacked so many journalists are sacked for holding opinion.
This is not a debate about journalism being sacked. This is a debate about
those are not economic reasons. These people are making money. They are sacking for whatever.
This is a debate about differential treatment of the liberal lobby, the so-called liberals.
I am willing to enter.
And Shabnam Lone as a liberal voice.
Ms. Kumar, I must ask you a question. I would be very happy to have a discussion on Kashmir, on any other thing. But here is a quick debate on Ms. Ilmi's not being allowed to speak at a particular forum.
That's the point.
Can we just keep it on the freedom of expression?
That is why we are saying
it has been
when it comes to an Omar Khalid,
the two of them have hijacked on Kashmir and everywhere else. It is not focusing. No. I challenge Mr. Varghese is not the last word. All that is his book itself is a government-inspired hoax.
Navika, I object to this.
1 minute.
I object to what you say. You object to what I say. That is the point of our debate.
Shazia Ilmi so much. Shazia Ilmi is an example. The issue is hypocrisy of the left.
There is no hypocrisy.
We are talking about the liberal hypocrisy, the Azaadi double speak, whether it comes in the form of GD Bakshi, Major General GD Bakshi,
that's what I'm saying.
Whether it comes in the form of Taslima Nasreen, whether it comes in the form of Tariq Fateh, whether it comes in the form of Salman Rushdie not being allowed to be into a lit fest, or whether it comes to Shazia Ilmi. We are talking about all of this. My question, Shabnam Lone, is why does the Liberal Brigade have so much voice, so much of lung power when an Omar Khalid is not allowed to speak at Ramjas College? Where do these voices go? Where is the award Wapsi Brigade when Shazia Ilmi is prevented? Only because she belongs to the BJP? Is she not a social activist?
BJP speaks there every day, every single BJP leader.
Is it because as a progressive
Triple
Muslim
Talaq has
woman,
been
as part of
discussed
the BJP,
ad nauseum.
she is an untouchable? Is that what? The right views are not acceptable, only left-leaning views are acceptable, Shabnam Lone?
Well, Navika, I agree with John Dayal sir when he says that Shazia Ilmi should have been allowed to make her point. And she should have been allowed to make her point in her alma mater where she has studied. It would have been great for the students who are there, and I do believe that it was not fine, it was not okay not to allow her to speak. In the same manner, in other universities, Delhi University or Ramjas University, we should have tolerance towards views we do not agree with. After all, it was Volatile who said that I do not agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. So I think democracy flowers.
I completely agree with you, Shabnam. I must say, I completely agree with you.
Both ways,
yes. And especially on our campuses, you know, these young minds, these fresh minds, they need to debate, they need to be able to understand how opposing views can be integrated. But where is the line to be drawn, Shabnam Lone? And I'd like to bring in Major General G.D. Bakshi on this, and then you, Sushil Pandit. G.D. Bakshi, where does the line get drawn? Everyone here is for freedom of speech. Where does the line get drawn? Do you give freedom of speech courtesy to somebody who speaks against India? To somebody who is charged with sedition? To somebody who says that Kashmir is not a part of India? Yes, Major General G.D. Bakshi.
Shabnam, please.
Can I come in, Tina? One point.
You know,
Tina,
the line is
1 second, let him respond, then back to you.
Yes. General G.D. Bakshi sir,
please. Shabnam, kindly.
This is where I am worried.
Kindly let me have my say. I think they have come to me after the end of the debate. Please.
No, what you spoke earlier.
You know what I am trying, it's a very critical point that Tina has raised, and that point is, when do we draw the line? We draw the line when the shooting and killing starts. It is no longer a debate. It is being spoken through the language of the Kalashnikov, the gun, the grenade, the rocket launcher. It is leading to the spilling of blood. You call it a debate? It is an open plot to overthrow the Indian state. You call it a debate? And you say that a man has the fullest right to come and shout those slogans?
Of course he's serious. When our Jawans die on the border, he knows the pain of that, Dr. John Dayal.
So do I. How do you know? I don't know.
He's seen it firsthand. He's seen it firsthand.
How do you get to the conclusion that I don't understand the pain of
because
I don't have to serve in the army to be a patriot.
Double speak, plays
I am as a patriot, as nationalist.
My question, and today,
the terrorists
let me give you this
shot.
Okay, and today, Sushil Pandit, let me take this because this is a political question. Let me take this to Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi. Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, today another debate has been stated. Just when sedition, just when secessionists, just when separatist ideology is being found on the campuses in Delhi, and there is a voice that is being raised against it, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, the National Conference in the Valley has raised yet another demand, and they say that it's an archaic law of sedition and therefore this law should be completely scrapped. Why do they choose this moment when Khalid is being opposed to ask for the scrapping of the sedition law? Why don't they talk about all of this at any other given time? Why don't they raise their voices against Shazia Ilmi being prevented from speaking? Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi?
It is ironical that National Conference, who are by and large responsible for the plight of Kashmiris today, since several decades, and they are talking right now in this language. But one more thing, that there has to be a bottom line. But what should be the bottom line? I just want to ask one question. If we are having a civilized debate here, as General G.D. Bakshi has said very appropriately, if there is a structured, consistent, well thought of armed rebellion, then supporting it directly or indirectly cannot be considered in the purview of freedom of speech. If we are discussing at a civilized debate, if some of the person on the panel says to other person, "मैं आपके टुकड़े कर दूंगा," you will say, no, 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 this cannot be allowed. Then how this can be allowed for the country?
Absolutely.
मतलब भारत तेरे टुकड़े होंगे, इंशाअल्लाह supporting that can be the freedom of speech, but for a person you cannot say. मैं ये कहूं कि किसी को बर्बाद कर दूंगा तो नहीं साहब वो नहीं कह सकते, but कश्मीर की आजादी तक चलो, वहां तो फिर भी समझ में आए, भारत की बर्बादी तक. What does this mean? And as if you go by the constitution, it is categorically written that every citizen of India should have unflinching commitment for the unity, integrity and sovereignty of India. So this is the bottom line. You
absolutely, and Dr. Fuad Halim, and Dr. Fuad Halim, and Dr. Fuad Halim, my question to you, Dr. Fuad Halim, is very simply, do you believe, does the CPIM believe that Kashmir is an integral part of the country? Should a platform be given to the likes of Umar Khalid to come and spread hatred and the self-determination of the Kashmiris? Talk about Azaadi from India, talk about Azaadi of Bastar. That's another unverified video which has surfaced. Azaadi of Bastar from India, that is being propagated on February 22nd. That's also an unverified video that has been put out from the Ramjas College debate. Do you think platforms should be given to the likes of Saeed Ali Shah Gilani and Mirwais Umar Farooq? Is this country now going to give platforms to terrorists and separatists to talk about disintegration of India, Dr. Fuad Halim? And do you believe that Kashmir is an integral part of the country or not?
Well, very clearly, if you give me the opportunity to complete, or you can go ahead and attack my right to freedom of speech, which I believe that the RSS has been doing in case of Shazia Ilmi. Let's be very clear. We are discussing, and the question on your screen that is running at the moment, and the question is asking the CPM, to the CPM, is what I'm going to answer to. Let's be very clear. The BJP and the RSS combined has muzzled Shazia Ilmi. If we go by the linear evidence that is coming on the table today, I want to know from Shazia Ilmi that if her voice was muzzled
once
in
again,
Jamia, has she taken it up with the Forum
I'm
for
so
Awareness
sorry,
of
but
National Skills?
you are making that completely redundant argument yet again.
Please don't interrupt
the BJP and the RSS are the ones who have decided that Shazia Ilmi will not speak.
Navika ji, Mr. Fuad Halim से पूछिए कि सोमनाथ चटर्जी के फादर हिंदू महासभा में थे कि नहीं? What you are talking about?
They have chosen to remove Shazia Ilmi from their program. I understand. Let that fact be established. I want to know if Shazia Ilmi is protesting that or not. Is Shazia Ilmi as an independent social activist?
Shazia, let's get in Shazia to respond to your question.
You're a joker. You should not be taken seriously. But Navika, I want to say one thing.
For Shazia,
so let's not take
this as an internal intrigue with the BJP RSS camp. Shazia Ilmi, respond to Dr. Fuad Halim says that you have not been stopped by the Jamia Millia, you have been stopped by the BJP and the RSS. Respond to him. Conspiracy theory.
All these Marxist leftists have done, and which is why they've been reduced to this state, is this finyans. Just see where it's taken them. So it's not worth answering. Everybody knows what's happened. Jamia management was pressurized the organizers who negotiated till the last minute, so much so that from the stage of that seminar, the organizers were warned. Warned is the word I'm going to say, that if Shazia Ilmi shows up, it will be a very unfortunate thing. They were threatened. The organizers were threatened by the Jamia management. This includes the VC and the provost. And this can be substantiated by the organizers. So that's one thing. But I want to say something else, Navika.
It has been substantiated. We played out that bite. I can ask my director to take out that bite in case Dr. Fuad Halim missed that in the package we ran before the debate.
But Navika, there is a well-oiled machinery in our country. Navika, there is a well-oiled propaganda machine.
Absolutely.
Let me finish. I just want to say one thing. Can I say what I have to say?
The call centers.
The Bharatiya Janata
so
Party
Navika, we should not
center,
take... See, this is all these guys can do, right? They can only derail the argument because they have nothing to say. And it just shows that they have zero commitment to right the freedom of speech.
On how governance is taking place under
Can I say something?
Janata Party and the RSS.
Navika, can you allow me to? Navika, can I be allowed to come in, please? He's repeating the same point. You're not making any sense, sir. Why are you doing it?
He is
mockery of the whole argument.
No, he's repeating the same point and we don't want to waste time on that. Sushil Pandit, very quickly, why it's important to come back to you here is because the entire issue has actually emanated from the issue of Umar Khalid. And the question that we keep asking again and again is that this Azaadi of speech, is it only for a chosen few?
No.
Will you protest the fact that Umar Khalid is not allowed to speak, but you are not going to protest that Shazia Ilmi is not allowed to speak? Isn't there a difference? Isn't there a difference when you talk about a man who speaks about the breakup of the country, who speaks about the barbadi of this country? Why should he be allowed to speak, Sushil Pandit?
Ina, we have come to such a pass because we have allowed radicalization. This radicalization has been stepped up. We have had 20 years ago, the same Jamia had a VC called Mushirul Hassan. His life was made miserable. He could not operate in the campus. He was not even allowed to enter his office because he was a liberal Muslim. He was opposed to Jansangh, RSS, BJP and the likes, but still he was not allowed to set his foot on the campus for months. That is what you have allowed in campuses like Jamia, in campuses like Aligarh over decades. And now you are reaping...
So any liberal thought, whether it's from Tariq Fateh, whether it's from Shazia Ilmi, is something that will be stopped by the Liberal Brigade. John Dayal, you're very agitated. Last 10 seconds to you.
The Liberal Brigade is absolutely for a united India.
Can I, Navika?
But under Sharia law.
But why don't you speak up?
I speak.
Really.
I want freedom for speech for Umar and for Ilmi.
Okay, even though it comes a little late in the day, Dr. John Dayal says that he speaks for the freedom of speech. The question really is why should there be equal freedom for Umar Khalid, who talks about disintegration of the country? He does. Those are the posters, those are the pamphlets that he spread in the JNU.
He's not convicted. It is an allegation. He's done that.
The draft charge sheet that has been accessed by the Times Now team has shown very clearly that sedition charges do hold out against him. Posters that he had printed, pamphlets that he had printed, the printing press where all this had gone out, all of that is going to be part of the charge sheet, which is going to come out very shortly. But
the CPI announced
we'll wait for that. We'll wait for that. But the big question is, why does the Liberal Brigade only sparingly speak only about Umar Khalid, but forgets to speak about Shazia Ilmi? On that note, we'll pause to leave the Liberal Brigade to introspect about why it's not time for award wapsi for the freedom of speech of Shazia Ilmi that has been taken away. Think about that.